We're live. I'm Gabe Ripley. I'm here with Fawn Baker, and this is Monday morning at 11 and change. And this is the Tattoo Weekly. We'll be moving it up to Tuesdays coming up, so if you want to catch us live, but we've been doing them Mondays. We have a really special guest. Cory Ferguson is going to be beaming in from Canada. He's going to be a special guest at the Paradise Tattoo Gathering. And before then, I'd just like to thank Reinventing the Tattoo, Guy Aitchison, who's founded the Reinventing the Tattoo curriculum, as well as the network and all these free shows that go out. And if you're a tattooer, you should definitely consider subscribing. And there's also free courses for you to try out there too. You can't learn how to tattoo for free, of course, but you can learn about the history of tattoos. There's some prehistory classes and whatnot. Then let's see, World Tattoo Events is the largest, most comprehensive website that has all of the convention listings. And I know this because I tried to copy them like 15 years ago. And after 2 days, I was like, there's no way I could keep up. This is insanity. Alex Van Dutch is awesome. He has interviews somewhere here. But anyways, that's World Tattoo Events. And then Tattoo Gathering, tattoogathering.com. We'll be talking about that, I'm sure. High Lifestyle event is coming up. Fawn and I and a whole mess of other people will be there. That's highlifestyleshow.com and Boxbro. And if this is working for you, please let us know. It looks like, hey, we've got featured Creature Cave says, hi, everyone. Hey, Creature, how are you? We could now feature some of our social comments and whatnot here. So, let us know that this is working for you. And, it looks like we do actually have Cory on the line here. So let's see. So this is the Tattoo Weekly, where we're going to be talking about news, events. Fawn has some convention coverage. Fawn, what convention do you have some coverage from?
You put me on the spot. I didn't have any convention stuff prepared.
It wasn't
for
convention.
The day.
You have a segment though. You had something that you were like, I want to make sure that I plug this.
Yeah, there's Kyle made an announcement on our show on Thursday, and I wanted to share it with everybody.
That's right. The convention coverage has been getting a little crazy. Lauren's currently in San Diego, weathering the storm. So, but okay. So yes, we will definitely have a special announcement. But while we have Cory on the line here, I'm going to fire him up. Okay, Cory, how are you? Can we hear you? Can you talk? Can we hear you, Cory?
Bluetooth connecting.
Oh, your Bluetooth is connecting, I think.
No, that's what I said that.
Oh, that's
I've got
what you were
some headphones.
saying.
Yeah, every time I put them on, they talk to you. So I feel like I've got the Sony prompt voice down pat. Bluetooth connecting. Battery.
Cory, can you hear us? 50%. Thumbs up if you could hear us.
Still no?
Well, I'm going to fire up some of his work here in the background. Cory. Oh, nope. Maybe do you want to pop out and pop back in?
Maybe text him a message. It's been a few years ago now, but I can't even think of what year it was. Maybe 2018 maybe. But Russ Abbott had a Launchpad event. It was a 2-day event in Georgia, and that's the first time I actually had the experience to meet Cory in person, and got to bask in all the tricks that he handed down to us. That not that I do a ton of geometric stuff, but when I do, man, those tricks still come in handy. So
yeah, he's been a long time tattoo gathering attendee and mentor and teacher there. It's always a pleasure. He's such a cool guy. He's like his second generation tattooer. I was just thinking, are you a second generation tattooer too?
Me?
Yeah.
Me, Fawn? No. My older brother kind of professes himself to be a tattooer on occasion, but
got it.
Never got real serious about it.
When we get him on here, it looks like he's getting the idea about his headphones. Can you hear us now, Cory? Well, hey, you know what? Why don't we
There we go.
Oh, was that him saying "here we go"?
There we go. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Finally.
There we
Oh.
go, Cory.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry about that.
That was not the
Thing,
worst of technical difficulties.
Okay.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
Taking
you.
time
Thank
out of your day.
for having me. Absolutely. You both. Come about.
I don't know if you could hear a minute ago, but I was talking about Russ's Launchpad event, and that's the first time that I'd actually like gotten to have any like one-on-one conversations with you or anything.
Okay.
But that's even been
Yeah.
a few years ago. You were just getting ready to launch your app at the time.
Yeah. We're still in the early. It was like what 20?
Was it 18, 17?
It was. Yeah. I know
I've
we
lost
were
track. I'd have
child.
to like look at my
So
poster.
it's been June of 2018. Like 5 months later, she was there in the womb.
And that's crazy. So
So
that was one of the very first apps for the that was coming out, huh?
it was our first app for sure. At that time it was we were still developing it. I think maybe 6 months into developing it at that point. It finally released in so it was a long time before it even a couple years of work.
It's amazing now because the technology's come so far that these days it's I mean it's still a lot of work clearly, and it's getting a good app that works well, but back then it was even more. It's a tremendous amount of energy and different programmers. Like, and are you a computer geek by nature, or is that just something that you were like, I see this vision in my head?
Yeah. My contribution to it was from a tattooers. I was like, this is what we need. This is what I want to be able to do. Have this vision for what, and all the experience of the industry, and then I have a partner who is so he takes care of the how. I can take care of the what, but it goes beyond that. Like he'll be like, yeah, we can actually do that, and then like this, and it'll be even better than I thought it was. Like it's a really good, like, we bought a lot of stuff.
Nice. Fawn, are you hearing the same audio issue that I am?
Yeah, it sounds like Cory's headphones are cutting out a little bit. Maybe there's like some noise canceling or something on that's chopping some of your words out.
Don't know how to fix.
Yeah, those. I don't know if the headphones are not being very happy, but. Are you on a phone or on a computer?
It's on the computer, on a MacBook.
Yeah. Well, I'm showing off some of your tattoos here, and they're pretty sick. Clearly, I've got still have the one in the palm of my hand here that stayed in real nice.
Awesome. Good. Very good. Out consistently.
Yeah.
I love how mindful you are, Cory, of like, there are a lot of different geometric artists out there, but one of the things that I really love about your work that really, I think, kind of makes it stand out, like, yes, you're very attentive to detail, but one of the things that really kind of pulls my trigger is that it's balanced. Like there's equal light, equal dark. And I think, not just in like geometric and ornamental artists, but I think a lot of tattooers lose scope of that like dark light balance or the black white balance. And I love that like there's always this mindful like 50-50 in all of your pieces. Even when there's like cover ups buried in there, there's still this mindful like there's a balanced weight between the light and dark, and I wish that's something that other artists would pay just a little bit more attention to, rather than covering the whole surface with busy, like actually balancing it so you've got nice, delightful rhythms for the eye to follow.
Yeah, it's something that I try to work on. It's like in my mind when I design but yeah, it's always like it's getting better. That was one of the things, was paying attention to that. So I'm busy, some not so busy. Although yeah, and if I sort of one of my that I look for, if if I find it to be a great, it's like whether there's some contrast, some dark and light. It's easy to just on there, but I think the best really have a good grasp on composition. I know,
people are digging it. You got to ditch those headphones, man. It's killing me. They're like cutting out every third, every little bit. It's or maybe you can beam in off of the phone or something. But people love the work.
A few weeks ago, we had a problem with, I had some Bluetooth headphones on, and I don't know if maybe it's something that's built into the software that we're using, but it seems like the Bluetooth headphones just are a no-go.
Okay. All right.
So maybe I was using...
Let me see.
I'm just trying to troubleshoot. You know how sometimes with Bluetooth, there's that delay, and I think that's maybe what we run into.
Or if it's going through a phone, I'm pretty sure.
Can you guys hear me now?
I definitely need to figure out.
How about now?
Much better.
Yeah. Okay. This is, I think, just the computer.
Yep.
So, all right. I think we're good there. Should be okay.
It's better. It's a little scratchy, you think, but I'll turn you down just a tad. Let's see.
Scratchy.
Well, anyways, This is what we got.
All right. Hopefully,
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
It'll do. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about
So how long technically have you been tattooing? Or I guess, when did you start? Is it were you tattooing as a teenager in your dad's shop?
Not as a teenager. I started working there as a teenager, though. I worked at the shop for quite a few years before I started tattooing. I started working at the shop in '93. I probably did my first tattoo in '97, probably. And I did a few here and there, and as I was learning, but it wasn't consistent. And so I started full-time tattooing as my job in May of 2000. So I always kind of set it from there, but really I've been tattooing. Okay. My first tattoo was probably I've been doing tattoos since '97, technically. So yeah, I made needles for a long time.
And you haven't gotten bored of them yet?
No, not at all. It's crazy. I love it more than ever. I'm sure everyone says that, but it's true. It just gets better when you really, when you put your all into it and you love it. And you keep progressing. It really just gets better.
A fair amount of, there's a fair amount of people on the internet I hear complaining
about tattooing.
I mean, maybe they're complaining about everything, but
some people will just complain about everything. But I guess there's little things to complain about here and there, I guess. But overall, it's the best job in the world. I literally every day I'm grateful that I get to do this for a living. I'd never ever take it for granted. I mean, tattooers have their own little shop talk or industry insider talk, oh, the client did this, and it's mostly, for me, it's just funny. But yeah, when somebody really harps on it, I'm I don't get it. I'm how do you not love this? It's crazy. This is the best thing you could be doing. You're so lucky. We're all so lucky.
It's hard to disagree with you. I mean, it's impossible for me to disagree with you there. And yeah, look at this.
But yeah, the internet's a funny place. People's a lot of negativity on the internet for sure.
You know what I love is the way everybody is an expert on the internet too.
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
Yeah, after Ink Master came out, I would get kids in high school commenting that my shading should have been smoother and things like that. Yeah, sure, all right, thank you. Yeah, it's so funny.
Do you
And
deal with many haters, or I can't
Nah,
imagine.
not
Yeah.
really, not too much.
Yeah. What about the style like back in the day, right? So 30 years ago, how many people were doing the black work? Obviously, like Leo was doing, with tribal, and um, but what was it like? Just the scenery. Was there? Did you have to build a clientele, or was it easy to?
Absolutely, yeah. I started doing it maybe around 20 years ago, maybe a little before that, 2021. But yeah, it was relatively unknown. There was a little scene happening in England, which I happened to rub elbows with. I was in the right place at the right time. But then, like, for me being the first person to like bring that style back to North America, yeah, it was uncharted territory. I would describe stuff to people, and like I'm like, oh, we could do something cool, and it'd be kind of like this. They're like, what is that? Like I would have to sell people on it a lot.
Mhm.
And it
And who
wasn't
were
hard because you just show them something. They're like, damn, that looks cool, because right away it's a very aesthetically pleasing style. So it wasn't hard to sell that way. But it's not like they came in asking for it. So
sure? Who were some of those tattooers that you went over to Europe to check out?
I got to work with Thomas Thomas. He's
Oh
on.
fuck yeah!
I worked with him for quite a while at Bugs' shop, Evil from the Needle, and then
Mm.
Thomas was very good friends with Zed Lahed. Zed is the
Uh-huh.
all-time godfather of this
It's like
style of work.
classics. You were in the right spot
You
at the
know,
right time, huh?
absolutely. At one point, me and Thomas Thomas were working at Evil from the Needle, and about 5 stores down, Thomas Hooper was working in the basement of this other shop, tattooing
Oh.
in this little studio. Yeah, it was like, talk about right place, right time.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. And then
Well,
yeah, Zed was a couple tube stops away, and it was cool. I have a picture of me and Thomas Hooper tattooing Thomas Thomas at the same time by hand.
oh,
Yeah,
amazing!
yeah.
Forever ago. And then your
Mhm.
studios back in Canada were filled up with tattooers that were pretty slamming too, huh?
My studio specifically, or
Well, I don't
just in,
know.
in Canada?
Yeah, I was presuming that. I mean, I guess we're talking about 25 years, but I guess your paths have crossed with plenty of awesome tattooers on both sides of the pond.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that's part of it for every tattooer's journey, is to meet those people, get inspiration, and techniques, each exchange, all that stuff. It's a huge part of it. I don't know if like
Sure.
staying in one place by yourself is going to get you so far. For me, the recipe absolutely involved like getting out there and meeting the artists that I admired. You know, sometimes you search them out. Sometimes it just happens by accident. You just don't even realize they're going to be at a show, and you meet them, and then you become good friends, or who knows. But yeah, the getting out there and stuff is a huge part of it. Yeah.
it's crazy whenever we're talking like two young tattooers or about young tattooers, like one of the things that's, everybody's always asking for advice. And one of the like top pieces of advice like I give and what I hear other people give that are giving helpful advice is to travel, and it's to do guest spots, and it's to work
Yeah.
with other artists, and it's to collaborate, and it's to, work outside of tattooing.
Yeah.
And I feel like, that's if you're working in the same studio, like let's say there's 5 artists in a studio, you're working in a studio, you see the same 5 artists doing the same 5 styles every day. When if you take a little road trip and you go work at 3 or 4 shops on that road trip, then you're exposed to all these different teams of artists and all the art that they're making. Not only that, you get exposed to like the tricks that they're using, the software that they're using to design things, you know, I've seen 100 different tattooers apply a stencil, but like every now and then somebody will just drop that little bomb of knowledge that's like, oh, that would make the stencil lay more easily, or oh, that would make this be more easy to read longer, or you know what I mean? Like the more you work
Absolutely.
around other artists, the more there's just these little mm, little tricks, but also like the inspiration to see what's possible. Because not every artist doesn't post every single thing that they do online. So when you're actually like there in person, you can see like what they're really doing and how they're doing it.
Yeah,
I feel like if you're
absolutely.
not traveling, you miss that.
Mhm. Sometimes it's the smallest little trick too. It can be nothing, like next to nothing. The type of pen they use, or some type of solution, or anything. It could be the littlest thing. It could be coming from an apprentice at the shop. You don't even know. There's so many little things to be had and exchanged. These little bits of knowledge that we pass around is the best. It's if you're open to it and you're looking for it, yeah, There's so many ways to do so many different things. It's even stuff that I've done that, like, like I was one of the first people over here to do white on black, and so I did it for a while, and then I kind of I didn't phase it out intentionally, but I just didn't go anywhere huge with it. And then I saw Nathan Mold was like breathing this new life into it and doing all sorts of different things that I hadn't thought of doing in with it. So I was like, damn, he like totally reinvigorated my passion for white on black. So it's like stuff kind of cycles around and somebody gets a hold of it and does something different. And it's like, it's super fun.
There was actually a Tony Booth white on black tattoo that was over at a contest in the UK, and I think it got best tattoo of the show.
Wow.
Like straight up, it was so like the way that he was doing is, you've done a lot of the drop shadow stuff and this, it was like it was popping off like the guy's arm was on like 5 different levels, and it was awesome. And it was like again awesome. It was like, I'm sure it was a cover up. Started off as blackout, and but then it turned into a legitimate award winning sick piece. That one went viral a couple years ago. It was
that's dope. I can't say I've ever heard of a white on black taking best of show or anything. So
I kind of want to find it.
Yeah, I remember the piece you're talking about, Gabe. I think it'll take you like 35 seconds to find it.
Yeah, it got pretty viral. But
that was one of those, like, I started showing that to my clients that were coming to me at the time for cover-ups left and right. And I was like, I mean, if we could do something like this. And at the time I was doing, like, for cover-ups, I would do what I called tribal, not tribal. Like, it'd be like, I mean, the only way we can bury that is with a whole bunch of black. So I'd build, like, these tribal shapes. But I'd make them look 3-dimensional. And I'd use, like, colors in them. And I'd make it look like they were, like, extruding from or into the body. So like I was already kind of dabbling in some heavy black, and then when I see this and it's like patterns on top of patterns, and you could tell that like the black had been saturated multiple times and the color had been like saturated multiple times, and you start to get this real true contrast. Like as the tattoo heals with that like white or color on black, it's going to change a little bit and it's going to settle a little bit, but it seems like he really understood that, and not only understood that, but he like played with it and pushed it into a whole new thing. And it's one of those like, some tattoos can be done in a day, some tattoos can be done in a few days, but like that style of tattooing is something that's done like session after session, layer after layer, and it takes a lot of faith from the collector.
Yeah.
But then to see what is actually possible over top of black work when there's like the follow-up dedication is pretty like inspiring. It makes it just gives us more options and opportunities. Don't do it. One of my coworkers is walking through, making a mess.
Okay, I found it. Or at least I found a Yahoo News with it in it. Let's see here.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen
there
this
we go.
one.
Look at all those layers.
Well,
yeah.
And maybe we saw it a little farther along. Maybe not. I don't know. It was. I remember seeing it being like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I remember that piece. That's probably one of the first ones I remember seeing around that time, where like I was like getting re excited about white on black. That's probably one of the pieces around that time for sure. Yeah, so that one's been a while now. I imagine that piece is probably like maybe getting close to 10 years old, maybe 7 or 8. I don't know.
I'd love to see what it looks like now. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That was years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as far as the like white on black renaissance, that's the one I would say. That's
a white on black renaissance. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So now, obviously, with all of the math and geometry going on, and the imperfect nature of the human body, how the fuck do you like do that? Oops, I just got us a point on YouTube for that, but I don't even know like how you do it.
I would like the layouts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously you must be stenciling a bunch. I mean, you're drawing some of it on the skin. You have to make it the seams work. Like it seems like it's hard enough. People need to come up with tricks just to make bands look right. How do you make math look right?
Yeah, that whole thing is like kind of one of the like final frontiers for me personally. Like as far as career goals and stuff I wanted to do with geometry and stuff, is like the seamless question was, how do you do that? Because you're not going to do it with a stencil. You're just not. I mean, you can, but it's going to take forever. A long time ago, Pat Fish, the Queen of Celtic, she tackled this leg piece on our friend Colin Colin Dale from Norway
Sure.
or whatever.
Uh-huh.
She did a piece on him, like a seamless Celtic piece on his entire lower leg. And like a few of us actually got to at different points go in and like contribute to the piece. I did a little bit of shading at one time at a convention, but Pat and her assistant did the layout, and it was a lot of work, a tremendous amount of work back then. That had to have been like 15 years ago maybe. And Zedla had also he figured out, he was the first person I think that ever like solved the riddle of like doing a seamless pattern around like a full sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
So even then, I didn't know how he did it. Like, he was pretty tight-lipped about that. He would post stuff online, but he wasn't telling people how he did it. He kept that real close to his chest, which is smart. So yeah, and then there's that Kenji Alucky. He's doing some freehanding the seam.
Oh,
We lost Cory. He'll be back with us.
my guess is that the battery on his computer just died at an opportune time. But
Yeah, it is pretty crazy trying to get these patterns to wrap. A lot of the stuff that I do it's not necessarily patterns this tight or precise. But one of the things that like helps me get everything to line up, whether it's like an abstract wigwag shape that I've been playing in, or a landscape or something geometric. I've done a lot of like hexagons and like V-shaped tattoos. One of the things that helps me is like in like the very first step is I take a yellow marker and I just I have my client stand and I draw a grid on whatever, whether it's a leg or torso, arm, but I draw a grid. So I've got my verticals and horizontals, and then I can build any shape off of that. Like once you've got a grid, you can build a isometric map off of that grid. And then once you've got your isometric map, you can draw any geometric shapes in there and they connect perfect. But it takes the time to sit there and do it. Sometimes we get luck out and we can stencil our patterns out, but other times you've got to know how to build those patterns freehand and build them perfectly, or give the illusion of perfection around imperfect body parts.
Yeah, absolutely. The piece that was just on the screen a second ago was entirely done that way. And this is one of my earlier grid ones. Yeah, this one.
Sorry, I'll stay on this one for a bit.
This one was one of my earlier grid things. I was like, wonder if I could take a grid and curve it and then draw on that. That was a long time ago.
It's so crazy. People ask me all the time, like, how do you draw stuff like that? It's like, well, first of all, you got to know, like, did you take algebra in high school? Did you take geometry in high school? Can you like problem solve in a geometric way? Because that's kind of like the first step. And then you got to mix in the fact that we're playing with an organic, weirdly shaped body, trying to work with perfect geometry. And it's kind of like, it contradicts itself kind of. So that's where like you got to be able to build your grid from scratch and then basically elaborate from there.
Yeah, totally. And once you know how to draw a grid, then if you've got a pattern that you can draw on like a paper grid, like before I did that sleeve and some of those ones similar, I would spend time drawing it on a grid. Like I'm doing a lot of pre-prep on the iPad, figuring out if I want to do a new pattern that I haven't freehanded seamlessly before, I'm going to do it on the iPad. I'm going to do like literally, I'll do it on there the way I'll do it on the sleeve. I'll start with a yellow grid, orange grid, whatever, and then I'll do the pattern over top so I know how to do it and how many vertical lines to put on the arm, make sure that it matches up. But beyond that, it's not crazy math, but it's a little prep, some planning, and once you know how to do it, it's not too crazy, but it's fun. And honestly, I don't think it would be. It seems like a long time because I'll draw freehand on somebody for hours, like 2 or 3 hours sometimes. But I don't think trying to do it with a stencil would take any. I think that would take longer. It's funny. People always comment like, "Oh, it takes forever," but like, you should have stenciled that. I'm like, I know that if I stenciled it, it would have taken even longer, and it probably wouldn't even have been as perfect.
Well, and then the other thing is when you take the time to draw something freehand like that, when like you could call it a challenge or you could call it an opportunity, you've built that pattern from scratch by hand on the person. So once you spend 2 or 3 hours drawing it, you go take a break, clear your brain, whatever, whatever your process is, and you sit back down and you are ready to tattoo it. That design is so fresh on your brain, and you have all this muscle memory in your fingertips that are going to help you just like fly through it, because you literally just built it, like, and you built it from scratch, analog. You didn't build it on a computer screen and now I've got to train my hand to make these shapes. You built it from scratch like a sculptor.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm always a fan of doing large freehand work, even though it takes a little bit more time. Like a lot of time in my work, sometimes some pieces of the landscape will be drawn freehand, other pieces will be like meticulously stenciled, but it's one of those, like, every tattoo calls for different things. And like, I know sometimes it might take longer to do it freehand, but the end result is going to be better and more like natural and fit the body,
Yeah, absolutely.
With a stencil, there's an element of, it's a a flat sticker that was put on a round surface. Then there's no way around that.
Yeah. It's all about how you want it to fit on there, and there's certain things that you're going to just have to draw it on if you want it to fit a certain way. It's about knowing when to use which. I think both techniques are super valuable. I think it's kind of silly when I hear like someone who freehands everything. It's like, no, man, use a stencil. Like that's there's a really great reason we have those. Yeah, it's a great tool. Like, don't throw away half your toolbox. There's a time when the stencil is going to be your best friend, and there's going to be another time when the marker is your best friend. So
it's so funny. I still have the tattoo stencil app that you recommended way back in the day. I still have that same app on my iPad, and like my clients will be sitting there watching me play with things. And once I drop it into that app and it like posterizes it and I can adjust it from there, it's crazy how it blows their mind. It's like, this is like the most simple thing. Like, I mean, I could do this in another app, but it would take me a few steps. But this is like, it's not magic. It's okay. Calm down.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the other app that we developed, was a part of the printing system in Geometrica. It turned out to be so like useful to everyone who tattoos, not just geometric tattooers. We decided to release it as its own app as well. So it does that, where it can convert an image into a line drawing for a stencil, or it can blow it up into as big as you want. I've printed out like a 60-page design, like 8.5 by 11 sheets, so you can make it as big as you want. Just it's super handy.
Now these are what we're looking at here is all different tattoos that different tattooers use the Geometric app to create.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's been cool to meet all these people like online. We've met a few of them in person now that conventions have opened back up and stuff. At the Toronto show this year, there was a whole bunch of Geometrica users that I got to meet face to face finally. It was super cool.
That's gonna be really fun to see your like the tools making other things. Like
absolutely, yeah. Like out of my hands, like somebody else. I've given someone else something to create with. It's so rewarding. Like that way, it's fun to see it.
Oh yeah, and like you just have more of an output. Well, I mean, it's not your. I mean, it's kind of your output. It's like your influence is helping the output.
A little bit, yeah. But yeah, I like the app. I try to promote it, and I use my experience in the industry and whatever to promote it however I can. But kind of my approach was not to make it about me, much. I want people to just take this tool and, those who know that it came from me, that's cool if we meet in person or whatever. But for the Geometrica users, I want it, to be about them, giving them the best tool.
What was the other one? It was a stencil. Is there an IG for the other one?
Yeah, tattoo print system. The IG on that one is not too active, I'll be honest, but it does show a few of the techniques. I can only keep up with so much social media.
Sure.
The whole thing, like our whole software company, is just me and my friend who's the programmer. It's still just the two of us. So on top of everything else, we both have 2 kids, and then
Do they have any interest in tattooing, or how old are they?
His, I don't think do. My daughter's 4. She does say that sometimes she wants to tattoo. So I think we're gonna definitely let her do a little like tattoo on mom and dad for sure.
I missed my opportunity to do that with my daughter. She tattooed my wife,
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
yeah, nope. Then she grew up, and I'm like, oh mother, fuck! How did I miss that? That was dumb. Of all the fucking tattoos to not get.
Maybe you can convince her one day. Maybe the right moment will pop up.
But
Wow, I have two kids. I'm assuming one of them will go into it and be the third generation tattooer. I think that'd be pretty powerful.
Absolutely. Now, is your father still tattooing? Is his shop still
He's not.
there?
He passed away 8 years ago. But he was tattooing right up until he passed. Some of the last time I spent with him outside of the hospital was tattooing with him in his shop. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing. The fun. So let's. But before we wrap this up, let's chat a little bit about Paradise. So you've got a couple things planned, and the schedule is going up. Everybody, just hold your horses for a little bit longer. I'm getting all the final details in. Hopefully, like after this, probably I'll be working on it. Everyone, like sometimes with the other people, I'm like, let's pretend that like there's 6 people asking you like every 3 hours when the schedule is going to go up. And but now it's on me, so I just have to program. But anyways, so what do you have planned for us?
Oh, I'm stoked, man. I'm really stoked for Paradise to be back. It's been 7 years?
It's been a while, yeah, like five or six.
Awesome.
It's been like 5 years from the shit show, so yeah, like 6 or 7. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. So much has changed since then. But I love that show. I can't wait to be back. Remember at the last one, I had a meeting with Russ Abbott about me potentially doing brush sets for him. I don't think he had a lot of people doing them yet. It's like I brought it to him like, hey, do you think I could do a brush set for you guys?
Awesome.
And look at how much we were still doing them this many years later. That was a long time ago. But so yeah, I have a stenciling app. So kind of the stuff that we've been talking about already here. I'm going to go over all my little tips and tricks and all these little things. Like some of them are just so like little and basic, but like if you don't know them, it's like one of those things where like maybe a handful of people in the room will be like, what?
Mm-hmm.
People really be like, I know that already. Of course, why I pay for this? But it does get more advanced. It goes from those type of tricks all the way to like stuff that like I can almost guarantee nobody in the room has done. So everything I've collected over the years, like I've been kind of in the back of my head collecting stuff for this for like 10 years.
Awesome.
I've been collecting little pictures of what I'm working on at the time, or different techniques and tricks and all that stuff that I want to share, as well as like the freehanding stuff, stenciling and freehanding. So I'm going to go into like the grid thing and markering and stenciling and all that kind of stuff, and some technology. Everyone who takes the seminar is going to get the app, the Tattoo Print System app, as well. So we'll go a little bit over how to use that so they can take advantage of that.
Awesome.
It'd be awesome. And then I guess also I'll do like a sort of a demo draw along with me kind of thing for Geometrica at some point on the weekend if we can.
Awesome. So that's the separate event where we'll be drawing along. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
like one paid for the stencils and the other one free. So people can bring their iPads. I think we might have like we might like have an extended free trial for them or something. You can get it for free for 2 weeks anyways. So like if you come and show up to that, you can just download the free trial and you're not committed to paying any money or anything. But we might even extend it for the people at Paradise. And yeah, they can come draw with me and see what Geometrica can do. Can show them all the cool stuff. We're about to drop a huge update where we've just like expanded already on the tools that were already pretty dope.
Awesome. Well, that's great. So
you're crazier.
You're not giving up then. You're not worried about the competition or anything. You're still working on it and upgrading stuff.
Constantly. We have not stopped ever. Yeah. It's been a lot of work. It continues to be a lot of work. But we're still like expanding on it. Yeah. We're not like resting on our laurels. We've always got new things. And like, oh, what if we could do this? What if we could do this? And then we have a bunch of testers who are all a bunch of awesome tattooers. So like if I ever run out of things to think of that we could add, they will keep it going too. So it's dope. It's like our baby. We just keep working on it. Mm-hmm. It keeps growing. And the new update is super exciting. We've got a thing now where you can
awesome. It's pretty awesome and valuable to our community that you do take the time to make these tools available, because this allows artists to just push things even further when the design process becomes easier and faster, and there are just infinite new ways to use different patterns and to create different patterns. Like, it's software like this that allows our community to just push further, because of people like you putting time into software and then making it available. Every artist out there now has the opportunity to build upon what you've already taken the time to do. And that's, I guess I'm just saying, I'm on behalf of the tattoo community. Thanks for taking the time to do that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love it. So it's such a huge, it's been a passion project from the get-go. It still is. Yeah, just want to keep making it better, keep growing.
It's kind of fun. Do you think your father, when he was starting off tattooing way back in the day, had any idea? I mean, you would know. He would have told you. But what were his thoughts on the tattoo world and the changes? Maybe we could wrap up on something like that. Talk about an old story.
Yeah, I mean, nobody back then would have had any idea how it was going to get. I remember when I started working at the shop, in almost 30 years ago, they used to talk about the bubble back then. And
it's got to pop.
Yeah, they're like, this is as big as it's going to get. This is so popular because bands on TV were doing it and showing off tattoos on MTV and all this stuff. So everyone was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is as big as it's going to get. And it was like, my God, not even close. So to see where it would have gone, I don't think my dad or anyone could really have had any idea.
Well, the bubble's got to be close. There can't be that many more people that want to get tattooed. I mean, at some point, if it's half of America that wants to get tattooed and is getting tattooed, how much more than half can you get?
Yeah, totally. But I'm sure he had no idea that any of this stuff would have happened.
It's fun to think that his influence on you and then your influence on the people and then their influence on other people. And then, there's somebody, there's other tattoo computer geeks that are like, wait a minute, I can make an app even though I'm not Apple.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Yeah. And in the end, I got to return the favor in a way, because towards the end of my dad's career, he was doing a lot of geometric and dot work stuff.
Cool.
Got into that, which was super awesome. Yeah.
Amazing.
It was very cool.
How could people get in touch with you? What's the best way for people to reach out and get tattooed by you? And
to get tattooed by me, the best thing is to email my shop, tattoos@live.ca. And it's pretty awesome email address we were able to score.
Man, 30 years ago.
Right. And otherwise, just Instagram. Yeah, just my Instagram or the Geometrica Instagram. If you have any questions about that, I'm on there, Geometrica Instagram, much more than I'm on my own. I've kind of let mine die out a little bit, unfortunately. I'll get back on it, whatever. But with the kids and the Geometrica one, I've gone full speed on the Geometrica one. We're almost at 200K now, so.
Awesome. Oh man, that's a lot of people there.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
The work on it is looking stellar too. So I mean, it's that's awesome. 200,000 people on an IG is a good chunk of people.
Yeah, totally. So I do tech support on there pretty much almost every day, and I'm on there quite a bit. So if anything Geometrica related, that's the best place to ask a question. If you want to get tattooed by me, email the shop, tattoos@live.ca, and otherwise you can check out my personal Instagram. It's
awesome. Sweet. Well, thanks again for joining. We're Fawn's gonna. I teased it a little bit. We've got a great piece of news for people that have been following the Reinvented Network, at least. Fawn, you want to let us? Well, so Cory, you're more than welcome to stay.
Yeah.
We got just a 5 minutes, 10-minute segment, and
yeah, absolutely. I'd love to.
Yeah, awesome.
If you want to screen share, Gabe, let's see. I believe it is an hour and 3 minutes on our most recent stream. Kyle kind of gives us a little bit of an announcement. I would screen share it, but I didn't do a test on the sound before we were live.
On the YouTubes?
On the YouTubes.
Okay, let me
we put them on the spot, so gotta.
Would this be under a video clip? Is that a?
I don't know if it's under a video clip, but if you go to the stream of our entire episode at 1:03.
That's what you were saying. I see what's going on. Okay, so I'm here on the Reinventing YouTube channel, and the previous. These are the past live streams. This is let's see here. So we've got touch. Okay, so.
Yeah, I'm actually.
Oh, yep. Cheers, man. Thank you very much. Let's see.
I believe it's the one with the Slimer there.
Got it.
Commercials,
Oh
Gabe?
boy. I know. I'm on the reinventing channel here.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, if you go to 1 hour and 3 minutes, he's got an announcement for us. This is Maddie, one of our coworkers here at Red Tree. She does a lot of awesome new school stuff. Her tattoos are like as bright and colorful as her hair is, so it's kind of a sign for what's to come. You got any sound on this?
Oh yeah, it's going out. I believe the sound is going out.
I hope the sound's going out. I don't hear it.
Well, either we're talking over him, or but I mean, it is pretty nuts that he's got a apprenticeship with Derb, huh? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, it's
After a
really
minute, we get
exciting.
into some pretty technical stuff, and Kyle shows us some of the drawing exercises and stuff that he and Derb have been doing together.
It,
So the cool thing about Kyle's situation is he's been working like back end with reinventing, and he's literally read through like multiple iterations of all of Guy's lessons. And he takes the painting exercises very seriously. He takes the iPad exercises very seriously, or I should say the digital exercises very seriously. So now that he's been doing all of the like art work and learning how to play with color, learning composition, now he has the opportunity to start learning the actual technical side of tattooing. The cool thing about the situation is, Kyle's in a lot of work here at Red Tree as one of Derb's managers, as well as like all the stuff he does in the warehouse. So it's really cool that now he gets the opportunity to actually learn the inside of tattooing. Derb's breaking him down. They're gonna tattoo pig's feet soon. He's tattooed some fruit, I believe. He's doing a lot of drawing exercises, and like how you build up muscle memory in your hand to make graceful, clean, beautiful lines, things like that. But Derb's breaking him down. Like he's teaching him about coil machines. He's teaching him about needle making. Obviously, there's a huge dose of tattoo history that's happening. Like he's pulling Stony St. Clair's books
awesome.
off the shelf and learning from those original drawings. And he's got like this massive tattoo and history library to work with that Derb has, collected over the years. So it's really a pretty special thing. Derb's so busy, it's not often anymore that he takes on an apprentice. But if you know any of the people that Derb has apprenticed, they have become incredibly successful artists in their own lane. Recently there was
It's
Rusty
on Kyle
Dornheckler,
now.
and that's been years ago since Rusty apprenticed with Derb. Before that, I know Hoffa did his apprenticeship with Derb, and he's a wonderful tattooer. Um, anybody I can think of that Derb has taught along the way, anybody that works with Derb grows as an artist. Anybody that has the opportunity to learn from Derb, the standards are so high. And you can look over Derb's shoulder and see the same things that he's telling you to do. He's actually applying them, and it makes beautiful tattoos that stand the test of time, that are technical, that are clean. Like, Derb's definitely got his own style, but that style definitely sticks to a lot of the classic technical tattoo rules. So
Sure.
it's a pretty awesome opportunity.
I mean, you could see, or everyone that's watching can see, like, the amount of work that Kyle's put into it too. Like, so I've just
Yeah,
been
you've scrolled way
scrolling and
back, Gabe.
scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I'm going all the way back, right? So, like, this is what I think when he started around reinventing, doing some of the reinventing exercises.
Yeah.
And I
To go
remember,
from this to what he's doing now is
um,
so wonderful.
I think this might have been the homework exercise that, this was one of the first exercises that guy sent over to him.
Mhm.
And but yeah, but like, this is just such a. I mean, he's drawing and painting and doing the exercises. I mean, every day, and he picked
And
up and moved
this is
across
just a fraction of
country
the work
and
that he's actually doing right now. Like this doesn't actually display how many little studies he does and what he's actually just working and grinding all the time. He's
awesome.
he's
Well,
definitely hungry to learn and putting the work in. So I guess that's it's a huge congratulations to Kyle, because how
absolutely.
long have you been calling him the apprentice hopeful?
He's not the
Like, it's just
apprentice,
turned into a
yeah.
joke. It's turned
Uh-huh.
into a joke over the last couple of years. Like,
uh-huh.
oh, Kyle, the apprentice hopeful, the
Uh-huh.
intern, we've got all the different names for him.
It's
Um,
better than the apprentice wannabe. Yeah.
yeah. Yep. The apprentice hopeful has graduated to the apprentice. So that's
Well,
a
and to your point,
pretty
now it's
cool
all on him.
accomplishment.
Like, if
Hmm.
it's up to him to screw up, but he won't. Like I said, he worked hard, and again, traveling across the country to the land without, with
Hmm.
uncertainty. That's great. So
Remember
there's
the
hope out
first
there,
time,
everybody, but it takes a
remember the
lot of
first
work.
time remember the first time Kyle came out to Jiminy Peak and he was all like quiet and barely spoke? He's still
Hmm.
quiet and barely speaks, but he speaks more now.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. Like, he's, as well as growing as an artist, he's like kind of coming out of his shell as a person. And it's been
Well,
wonderful to kind of watch that unfold. But
man, when he said that he was landing there, in Columbus and going to hang at Red Tree, I was like, awesome.
yep.
Could practically not find couldn't find a better crew. You could find other crews that are as good, but like a couple other, but not very many. And to land an apprenticeship there with Derb, it's go Kyle, woo!
Yep.
And again, I think we might, he'll have to tell me when he's going to get too busy for the apprentice hopeful work, but we might be looking for another reinventing intern at some point. But
Nice.
only when he's
Well.
ready to pass it on. You'll have to get through him first.
Yeah. The apprentice hopeful, then the intern, now the apprentice.
Oh,
But
awesome.
it'll work out.
Sweet. Well, how do people get a hold of you, Fawn? And wait, actually, before that, we do have next week. Do you remember who our guest was for next week?
You shot me the list over, but I've been incredibly busy and my mind is stacked with
Yeah,
things.
I don't. Let's see if it comes up quick. It's either going to come up quick. Oh, it will. Well, we do have guests lined up for the next 4 weeks.
Mickey
And
Schlick, Gunner, and Carolyn Evans. I knew Gunner was coming up.
Awesome. Yeah.
Gunner also used to be a resident artist of Red Tree too. So.
Oh, and he was in Connecticut. I remember. So I've known him from both the Hill City neck of the woods and from the Connecticut neck of the woods here.
Yep.
And there we go. We've got upcoming guests, and hopefully we'll catch up with Lauren and get some convention coverage from the San Diego show last weekend.
Yep.
I know she said
All
she had
right.
some conversations with Good Time Charlie, so I don't know if she got them on video or not, but yeah.
Well, I'm sure she'll be excited to share some of the conversations she had, whether they were on video or not. She's pretty excited about some of the stuff going on. So
awesome. Cool. Well, thanks again, everybody. Click the buttons, do the things, leave the comments, share it around, whatever you want. I'm going to click the end stream, and we'll catch up next week. Okay.
Cool.